Luther Hargreeves. Number 1. Comic. Luther Hargreeves is the leader of the Ambrella Academy and the favorite adoptive child of Sir Reginald Hargreeves. Referred to in the comics as Spaceboy, the super-strong Luther rose to worldwide fame as the first boy in space. However, Luther was critically injured in a later mission to Mars, which resulted in Sir Reginald transplanting his head onto the body of a Martian ape. Description in the comic. Appreciably enhanced physical strength and resilience, excels at everything he tries, particularly aviation and marksmanship, and he knows it. Dedication bordering on inhuman, ruthless leadership abilities, my favorite, said by Reginald Hargreeves. TV show. Portrayed by Cameron Brodeur as a child, and Tom Hopper as an adult. An astronaut with super strength who lived on the moon for 4 years on a mission from his father. He was severely injured during a mission and is the only sibling who did not leave the team. To save his life, Reginald injected him with a serum derived from a monkey that turned his upper body into a large gorilla-like body with wide shoulders and fast metabolism, explaining his constant desire to eat. Diego Hargreeves. Number 2. Comic. Diego Hargreeves, also known as Number 2 or his superhero alter ego the Kraken, is the reckless and rebellious member of the group. His main ability in the comics allows him to hold his breath indefinitely. He also has a strong talent for knife throwing. He can change the direction of projectiles in midair. Also, though it has not been explored, he may be able to use mild telekinesis in close-quarter combat. He and Luther have a clear rivalry, and Diego is often unwilling to take orders from Luther. Description by Reginald in the comic. An insolent brat, ability to hold breath indefinitely is of dubious if any use, not bad with a knife as illustrated by the amount of gashes in the Caravaggio, predictably reckless. TV show. He is portrayed by Blake Talabes as a teenager and by David Castañeda as an adult. While Diego being white in the comics, this adaptation of him hails from Mexico and Diego is depicted as a Latino American. He is introduced as a vigilante who got kicked out of the police academy and now uses his powers to fight crime that police don't. His rivalry with Luther and the other siblings stays the same in the show, and he constantly attempts to meddle in police investigations relevant to the series. Allison Hargreeves. Number 3. Comic. Allison Hargreeves, also known as Number 3, or by her superhero alter ego named The Rumor, described as narcissistic, she has the ability to manipulate reality by lying, using the phrase, "I heard a rumor," to activate the power. After her career with the Umbrella Academy, she married her boyfriend, Patrick, and had a daughter named Claire. The couple has since divorced, and Patrick has full custody of their daughter, due to Allison using her special ability on Claire. She has a cybernetic left hand as Dr. Terminal devoured her original hand when she was a child. She is romantically linked to her adopted brother, Luther Hargreeves. In the comics, their love for each other is challenged as Luther sees himself as a monstrosity due to his gorilla body. Description in the comic. Insufferable, narcissistic creature, but extremely useful. Prevaricates with appalling ease. TV show. Played on the Netflix series by Eden Cupid as a child, and by Emmy Raver Lampman as an adult. Unlike the comics, in the series, she is a black woman. Allison used her power to further her acting career, at the cost of her marriage and the custody of her daughter. During the events of Apocalypse Suite, Allison had her throat slit by her sister Vanya, as the white violin, to prevent Allison from utilizing her power. Allison survives the injury but loses her ability to speak, as well as her power. In an attempt to stop Vanya from ending the world, Allison fires a gun right next to Vanya's ear, causing her to pass out and send a beam of energy towards the moon and destroy the world.
I heard a rumor that you walked away.
Klaus Hargreeves. Number 4. Comic. Klaus Hargreeves, also known as Number 4, or by his superhero alter ego the Seance. Klaus's powers are speaking with the dead, channeling the dead so they speak through him, possessing people, broadcasting his consciousness through airwaves, allowing him to communicate through TVs, and telekinesis. In the comics, Klaus abandoned his family and began working with the Mothers of Agony, a local satanic biker gang who gave him a variety of drugs and utilized his power to speak with the dead to con wealthy buyers. He would later betray this group, however, leading them into a shootout with a rich widow desperate to find her husband's buried fortune. After locating both the hidden money as well as the biker's stash of heroin, Klaus returned to the city, only to overdose in an abandoned house. He was saved by the manifested spirit of his long-dead brother, Ben, aka the Horror, who delivered him to a nearby hospital and warned him of a new threat looming. Comic description: development of psychic abilities stunted by fretful, morbid temperament, inexplicable resemblance to an Ingmar Bergman extra. TV show: he is portrayed by Robert Sheehan and Dante Albidone, as an adult and teenager respectively, in the television adaptation. In the television adaptation, he has the power of evocation, making spirits corporeal, capable of being seen by others and interacting with objects around them, and the ability to resurrect himself from death. Of his comic powers, he retains only the ability to speak to the dead in the television adaptation. He has the words hello and goodbye tattooed on his right and left palms. It has been theorized by Mr. Pogo that Klaus has been doing drugs since he was a teenager. Klaus continues to communicate with his deceased brother Ben, who always tries to help him to not use drugs.
Klaus, you can do this. Stay strong.
In an added detail, absent from the comics, Klaus is depicted as pansexual in the television adaptation. The Boy, Number 5, comic. The unnamed fifth member of the Umbrella Academy is known only by his given number, Number 5, and by his superhero alter ego, The Boy. At the age of 10, 5 disappeared by using his power of time travel to escape into the future. Sir Reginald always warned him that he could never go back. It took him 45 years to figure out how to go back in time. He aged normally during his time in the apocalypse and eventually becomes an operative for the Temps Eternalis, a sort of time police dedicated to preserving the time stream by eliminating anomalies. He is considered the perfect assassin, as he has had the DNA of the best killers in history infused into him. He has a 100% chance of killing if he decides to kill. It is revealed in the Dallas storyline that 5 and Spaceboy are twin brothers. After 45 years he was able to return to the past, but he regained the appearance he had the day he traveled forwards. Comic description: disappeared several days ago, no great loss. TV show: in the television series, the character is portrayed by Aidan Gallagher and appears in all 3 seasons. Jim Watson plays an adult 5 and Sean Sullivan portrays an elderly 5. Unlike the comics, his body continues to age normally after reverting to its 13-year-old form, as 5 bemoans, going through puberty twice. He is constantly pursued by assassins Hazel and Cha-Cha, along with his former boss, the Handler, all of whom work for the Temps Commission and want to make sure the apocalypse goes through. In the end of the season he time travels with his entire family in an attempt to start over at crossing the apocalypse. However, the time travel goes awry and the siblings are scattered across different times in the 1960s. 5 lands in an alternate timeline where the world is on the brink of being destroyed from another apocalypse.
Whoever you are, you're in my way. If I see you again, I will kill you.
Ben Hargreeves, Number 6, comic. Ben Hargreeves, also known as Number 6, or by his superhero alter ego, The Horror, is the currently deceased 6th member of the Umbrella Academy. Number 6 possesses eldritch monsters from other dimensions under his skin, most often appearing as tentacles emerging from his torso. He is deceased from the results of a mission gone wrong. Ben's spirit manifests during the Hotel Oblivion storyline, appearing before his brother Klaus in the hospital after saving him from an overdose. It is shown that the portion of his chest that held the monster's tentacles is now an empty cavity, and it is hinted by Ben later in the issue that the monster had escaped from its dimension. It is also implied the Hotel Oblivion was not just made to be a supervillain prison, but a trap designed by Hargreeves to contain the beast, with the villains inside meant to be used as bait. Comic description: gruesome but fascinating, easily manipulated due to enthusiastic and naive nature. TV show: he is portrayed by Justin Min and Ethan Huang, as an adult and a teenager respectively, in the television adaptation. In the series, Ben is depicted as South Korean. There is a memorial statue of him located in front of the academy. Even though he has been dead since before the start of the series, he has been portrayed as a member of the Ambrella Academy, appearing as his statue counterpart, in visions, or with Klaus, through his ability to talk to the dead. He can connect with Klaus physically, lending him his ability for a moment. He's referred to as a Jiminy Cricket type of character as he reminds Klaus of his moral responsibilities even if the troubled number 4 refuses to listen.
Why not try starting your day with a glass of orange juice or some eggs?
Vanya Hargreeves, number 7. Comic. Vanya Hargreeves, later Victor Hargreeves. In the television adaptation, they are also known as number 7 or by their superhero alter ego the White Violin. Unlike the rest of the children, she was not allowed to go into the field or do much of anything. She was always told that there was nothing special about her. As a result, she grew up self-conscious and with little confidence. But her powers were eventually released by the conductor, driving Vanya mad. After unlocking her powers, she murders the conductor and travels to the Hargreeves mansion to destroy it, killing Pogo in the process. During the fight with her siblings, Klaus distracts her by pretending to channel Hargreeves, and number 5 shoots her in the back of the head with Hargreeves' revolver. Doctors said that she would eventually recover from her injuries, but would never play the violin again. Comic description: no discernible talents, some enthusiasm for music, but mediocre skill, can hardly even hobble through a Paganini caprice, utterly useless. TV show. In the television adaptation, the character is portrayed by Elliot Page as an adult, and by T.J. McGibbon and Alyssa Gervasi as a teenager and a 4-year-old, respectively, the most estranged member of the Ambrella group. In the series, Vanya is also being treated as an ordinary girl, as her father had realized that her powers are too strong, and made Allison, as a child, to rumor Vanya to forget about them and kept her on medication to maintain her in control. Vanya is also known to have written a book detailing her life within the academy and her decision to leave. In her adulthood, a man finds her, as it'll be seen later, who wanted to have a revenge with the academy, and helps her to find out about her powers and that she was lied as well as mistreated, which makes her extremely angry. When her siblings tried to stop her, she began reaching her full potential while playing the violin and becoming the White Violin. The end of the first season of the television adaptation differs from the comics, as it is Allison who aims the gun at Vanya and at the last minute, fires the gun next to Vanya's ear, causing her to lose focus and destroy the moon and the earth. In March 2022, it was announced that Page would return in the upcoming 3rd season as Victor Hargreeves. The character transitions during the 3rd season following his real-life transition as Elliot Page.
It's, Victor. It's who I've always been.
Reginald Hargreeves, the founder of the Ambrella Academy. Comic. Sir Reginald Hargreeves, also known as the Monocle, is an alien disguised as a wealthy entrepreneur and world-renowned scientist. He received the Nobel Prize for his work in the cerebral advancement of the chimpanzee and founded the Ambrella Academy, a group of adopted superpowered children. Sir Reginald is cold-hearted, often mistreating and even experimenting on the children for his personal interests. He refuses to let the children call him father, demanding that they address him by his codename the Monocle instead. When speaking to the children, he refers to them by number, which was assigned to the children in terms of usefulness, and has nothing to do with their actual destructive capabilities. TV show. In the television series, Reginald is portrayed by Colm Feore and appears in all 3 seasons in a main role. Feore joined the series in February 2018. He is revealed in the 1st season finale to be an alien from another planet who came to Earth following the death of his wife and the destruction of his home planet. Before leaving, he unleashed a jar of golden particles, largely implied to be the marigolds that brought the 43 children into existence. Upon arriving to Earth, he created an umbrella manufacturing company and became a billionaire entrepreneur. In the first episode of the series, he kills himself to reunite the children for his funeral and stop the apocalypse, which is the main topic of the season.
Next! Name?
Reginald Hargreeves.